Hey, white friends, what's up? To you, homegirl, to you, my friend, to you, my buddy, what is up? It is Myra Rollins of MyraRollins.com. Make sure to stop by the website and check out all the things and leave me your email address while you're there. And it is so comical to me to see some of the comments that you all are leaving about me and what you believe to be my personality. I seem so sweet, so relatable, so kind, so loving. And I'm like, yeah and no, yeah and no. Because I am that. Authentically, truly, what you see is what you get. But there is a other side to me that my grandmama says is quick mad. There are certain things that make me quick mad. Like, for example, if someone drives on the median in traffic, what makes you think that you so important than all the rest of us? That unless you are birthing a baby or bleeding out, you need to get back over here. Whew. Or if a person litters, like, what kind of savage are you that you can't wait the 5 minutes it would take to get to a trash can? Like, if you litter, I believe that you could steal and kill. I question your whole morality and integrity when you litter. Ooh, here's another one, y'all. If I come home and I see that in my bathroom there's an empty brown tissue paper roll where tissue used to be, but on top of that brown roll is a new full white roll. Ooh! Because what that tells me is that someone in my house made an observation but felt no obligation. They made an observation that the tissue paper roll was empty, but they felt nothing within them that said, let me try and correct this problem. And so, what has happened, if we take that same philosophy and we look at what happened with George Floyd, many people, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, gratefully so, made an observation and for the first time felt an obligation. And that's why I'm here speaking with you, sis, because you made an observation of the racism that exists in our country. And that observation led you to the feeling of an obligation. And so now you are searching for what do I do? What should I do? And I'm so glad that you continue that mission and that search. And so as the voices rang out, as people ran to social media and television and blogs and internet, and everyone was lending their voice to the cause, I questioned myself and asked myself, where do I want to lend my voice? Where do I feel that I would be the most impactful? And what I knew was not me. I did not want to try to speak and convince the people who are deeply engraved and implanted in racism and hatred. Like, I didn't think that I could be effective with them. But what I did believe was that me and you, sis, we could talk. And what I mean and who I mean is my white sister, who we are probably already friends in some settings, or I have friends just like you, or we could laugh and we could talk, and you and I could sit across from one another and share a cup of coffee and just have a good time. But here's the thing, I also realized that there is a difficulty, a struggle, a hurdle that I have to jump with you that I would not have with that other racist person. See, with that other deeply ingrained racist person, I would not have to convince them that they had any kind of bias. They would admit it would be clear, and there would be no question. But for you, it is very hard for you to accept, acknowledge, or even understand that you have biases that affect the way you believe and behave. And the reason why it is so difficult for you to believe that is because you're genuinely a good person. You serve, you volunteer, you let people over in traffic, you let the person who has one item at the grocery store get in front of you. You are genuinely a good person. But it is because of that it is almost impossible for you to accept and therefore explore and then ultimately improve the biases that cloud your judgment. And some of those biases come out in what we African Americans experience and what has been termed microaggressions. A microaggression is a term that was coined in like 1970 by Professor Dr. Chester Pierce, and he defined microaggression as a subtle and often automatic and nonverbal, sometimes exchange that is a put down to Black Americans. So let me give you an example. Um, Many examples that I've experienced. Number one, I have braids. Just last week, I was in a subway, and a white man was working at the subway, and he began to compliment me on my braids. He said, "Your braids are so beautiful." And before I could get the thank you out, he continued. He said, "They are so neat and clean. Did you expect them to be dirty?" Like, when was the last time, white sis, that someone complimented you on your hair and said it's so beautiful and it's so clean? Likely never, because no one expects your hair to be dirty. But for someone to comment on my hair, to say that it's beautiful, but then say that it's clean, negates the beautiful compliment. And that is a microaggression. Another thing that happened to me all the time, I used to be in therapy management. I was a supervisor and manager of a region of like 13 different therapy clinics. And countless times, people would come into the clinic, family members, patients, and doctors, and they would either assume that I was a rehab tech, or they would come in looking for the supervisor, and they would say, "Hey, can you direct me towards the supervisor or the manager?" And when I would tell them, "Oh, I'm the manager," it would be a look of shock and amazement. And many of them oftentimes would say, "Oh, really?" And I would say, "Yes." When was the last time, sis, manager, that someone asked you in shock, "Oh, really? Like, you have this level of supervision or management or rank in a place?" When was the last time someone has ever asked you that? That is an example of a microaggression. A couple of years ago, my husband was working, and he met a new coworker, and they were getting to know one another, and we're talking about their previous roles, their families, and my husband told this new employee how many children he had, and this employee said, "Do they live with you?" Why would you ask that? Why? When, sis, was the last time that someone asked your husband, when he said that he has 2 kids or 3 kids, has he ever been asked, "Do they live with you?" These are examples of microaggressions that it's important in this definition that you understand. The word is automatic. These things come out so quickly, and you don't even realize that they're offensive or wrong or biases. And so these are the biases that I want you to explore. And how do I want you to explore them? I want you to write down a couple of questions. And maybe not questions. Let's say the word statement. What I want you to do is write down this statement. Statement 1. Most Black families. And without thinking, no filter, wait a minute, close the door, lock it. And when you finish writing it, you have my permission to ball it up, burn it, do whatever. Just don't litter, okay? No one's going to see it, just you. I want you to write down most Black families and just write whatever comes to your mind. When you think of a typical Black family, what do you see? What are your thoughts about a Black family? And write. Then after that, I want you to flip over and I want you to write Black women, excuse me. Write. Finish that statement. Without thinking, no filter, just write your thoughts and perceptions of Black women. Then I want you to write most Black teenagers. Right. What do you think they wear? What kind of music do they listen to? I'm getting so excited. Just write. Now I want you to take that, and after you look at that, these are the questions that I want you to ask yourself. Question number 1, where did I learn that? Question number 2, who taught me that? Question number 3, is it unhealthy or dangerous to believe that? And question number 4, how can I unlearn that? That is your homework. That is the homework that I want you to be committed to completing this week. It is not just for video purposes. It's not just for you to look at something else and hit like. I want you to do the work, because remember, sis, I get quick mad when someone makes an observation with no obligation. And this is part of your obligation. So remember that we're a team and we want to keep this party going. And by party, what I mean is the work of racial reconciliation. And so do the work, and I'll see you next week.